Greetings, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel, Spiritual Growth Journeys. My name is Kimberly, and I am here to help you on your spiritual journey and with your ascension. So today, what I'm going to be teaching you and covering is I basically the other day I had a chat with Yeshua, and I asked him, what do you want me to teach right now? Because it's kind of stumped, I I do my best to come up with ideas for what I want to teach people, but every now and then I hit like a roadblock where it's like I don't know what I should be teaching. So I went to him and I asked him, what do you want me to teach? And he said, teach the peace stress management system. So that is my book that you can see here in the picture, The Real Fountain of Youth. Oops, I have it here too. Real Fountain of Youth. And he wanted me to start teaching this. So this book, so first of all, let's talk about this. The reason why the book is called The Real Fountain of Youth, let me explain to you. I'm going to pick up my book. Basically, the peace system, well, first of all, you need to understand that the peace stress management system is a name that Yeshua gave me back in 2011. I'm going to go back in time and tell you the story of how this all came about. At that point, at 2011, I had been working with people all over the world as a life coach, health coach, healer, stress management expert, especially helping people in the medical community because they have like a 90% burnout rate. I was going to conferences and meetings all over the country and giving talks about stress management and meditation. I'm a certified meditation instructor, so I was teaching that. And at that point, I'd never written a book in my whole life. And honestly, I never planned to write a book. And the only kind of books I planned to write were children's stories, because when my kids were little ones, I actually made up a lot of stories out of my head. I just made them up and I wrote them down. And I thought someday I'm going to find an artist who can do the art, because I can't do art. I draw stick people. I thought someday I will find an artist who can create the art, and I'm going to do children's books. But I never ever thought I would ever write a spiritual book or a book for adults of any nature or variety whatsoever. It's just not something I wanted to. And Shua popped into my room in 2011, and he said he wanted me to put the stuff that I was teaching people that I'd already been teaching. I had like kind of a systematic way of teaching everybody this information. And he said, I want you to put it in a book. And I said, okay, I don't really know how to do that. And he said, don't worry, I will be, giving you the information over time. Little did I know it would take 5 years. It was 5 years of downloads and information that I received from Source and Yeshua to put in this book, plus years of research. I put many years of research into this book. It was a 5-year venture. It was very, very challenging. The whole thing was challenging because I didn't know how to write a book. I didn't even know where to begin. But he gave me the name, and when I said, what do you want me to call the book? Well, the initial name was actually called Conquering Stress, The Real Fountain of Youth. That was the initial name when I first launched the book, because 98% of illness, according to Dr. Bruce Lipton, PhD, is caused by emotional stress. But Yeshua disagrees with that. He says 100% of illness is caused by stress, basically, and it's not just emotional stress. Bruce got it right about emotional stress causing illness in the body, but he missed the boat because he didn't cover all of the other parts of the puzzle. So in this book, I have this puzzle, this beautiful puzzle. Whoops, let's see if I can get it to show up on the camera. The camera just wants to blank the page out. Here we go. So so that's the puzzle, and I call it the 2000 piece stress puzzle, because there's all these different types of stress. And so he said, Bruce, because I had read the book Biology Belief before I wrote this book, And Bruce covered the subconscious and conscious trauma and emotional stress and wrong belief systems and all that, which I teach, and I work with people in private sessions every day. I work with them to deal with this stuff. But he didn't cover all the other types of stress. So Yeshua named this program the Peace System. And I asked him, why are you naming it the Peace System? And he said, because I am the Prince of Peace, and this system is going to bring peace into people's lives. And just note, please note that peace is the opposite of stress. Okay. You can't be peaceful and be stressed out at the same time. The two do not exist. Kind of like you can't hate and love someone, really. You can't have what we call unconditional love. Like they say, oh, you can have a love-hate relationship. That's actually not true. That's if you are practicing the Cabal version of love on planet Earth, which is very conditional. If you're practicing unconditional agape love, that's Christ consciousness level love, you can't, it's not possible to hate and love at the same time. You either love or you hate. It's not both. So it's the same with peace and stress. You either have peace or you have stress and trauma. And so, and also the P, it's initialized P dot E dot A dot C dot E dot, and that is because it stands for physical stress, emotional stress, chemical stress, and environmental stress. Now, the Bruce Lipton info that many of you have read, if you've read the book, The Biology of Belief, which is a huge best-selling international bestseller, you know that that falls under the emotional stress category. But he also missed some of it in there because some of the emotional stress can also come to you from past lifetimes. And some of the emotional stress can also come to you from entity attacks and all sorts of things. There's a lot of places where you can get that emotional stress from. You can also be an empath, and you can pick up empathically other people's emotional stress. So it's not just your own wrong beliefs, it's everybody else's wrong beliefs and trauma that can also affect you, as well as getting attacked, as well as past lives. So there's so much to this. So this book is literally an entire body, mind, spirit, life makeover. The whole book is one giant life makeover. There is homework at the end of each chapter. The last chapter is literally a total life makeover program. If you don't have this book, it is available on Amazon. It was actually a bestseller for several months after it launched in the category of like alternative healing books and spiritual books. It was the #1 bestseller for several months. And this came out, it was originally published in 2016 under Conquering Stress, The Real Fountain of Youth. And then a few years ago, the boss asked me to rename it just The Real Fountain of Youth, because he said that the conquering stress thing, some people just don't, it's kind of a turnoff to people. It's kind of like something that people don't want to look at. A lot of people don't want to deal with their dark sides of their ego. A lot of people don't want to deal with negative stuff in their life. They don't want to face their problems. They run away from them. And so those kind of people, if you give them a word like conquering stress, they're going to go, ooh, I don't want to conquer my stress. Ew, that just sounds scary and messy. And they don't want to look at that. So we took that out, and that was at his request. He named the book. He's named all my books, my Ascension 101 book, A Roadmap for Your Soul. He gave me that name too. I actually wanted to call the name, I was pretty stuck on the name, Classroom Earth, Making the Grade. And that was really what I wanted to name the book, because this Earth is a big classroom, and all the planets in space are big classrooms if you're in the third dimension. And he's like, nope, you're going to call it Ascension 101, A Roadmap for Your Soul, because that's what we're focusing on. So he's the one that's given me the names for all my books, including my last book, which is on my website, Walking with Yeshua and Mary Magdalene. That was another book name that he gave me as well. Just that's how I named all these books. And it's so interesting, because if it wasn't for Yeshua popping into my room and telling me, you're going to write a book, and he also asked me to get it to what he called all over the planet. He said, I want you to spread it all over the planet. He actually said the 4 corners of the earth, which then that makes people start doing their little flat earth thing. And we're not going to go there today on this video, but that's actually how he stated it. He said, I want you to get it out to the 4 corners of the earth. And if it wasn't for him, I never would have written any of these books. I would have just maybe someday when I was an old grandma for my grandchildren, I would have written a children's book and may not have even published it. I might have just kept it just for my grandkids, just made my own little private book. But I had no intention of ever writing books. And so this Real Fountain of Youth book is a combination of information from Yeshua and my 39 years of research into healing, holistic medicine, stress management. I had to conquer and control my own stress in order to, learn how to teach other people how to do the same. I had years and years and years of trauma and stress and horrible anxiety disorder and panic attacks that I had to heal and cure, which I did. And I don't do that anymore. I don't have an anxiety disorder anymore. The only kind of anxiety I get is if we're hit with massive photon light energy from the sun or big Schumann resonance or something, as what we call ascension symptoms. Once in a blue moon, I will have a day where for no reason at all, I just feel super anxious. And I know that that's the energies, the ascension energies, but I don't have anxiety, which is in alignment with worrying about everything. Because back in the day when I became a new mother, I developed, this was 26 years ago, 27 years ago, I developed an anxiety disorder because I was worrying about everything all the time. Because I was a new mom. I didn't have an instruction manual for how to be a mom and how to give birth to a child and raise a child and all that kind of thing. And so I was anxious, and then I started having panic attacks when my kids were little, because I was really overwhelmed with the whole mommy thing, and I didn't have support. And that was the biggest problem in my life, is I had zero support. My mom and dad lived 1,500 miles away, and I wasn't really getting along with my mom anyways. My in-laws were just not available, and my father-in-law actually passed away when my daughter was born. So I didn't really have grandparents around to support me. I rarely could ever find babysitters. We had a real lack of babysitters in our neighborhood. And it caused me to be pretty stressed out. Plus, I was also doing a home-based business and raising children in my home, staying at home as a stay-at-home mom. And I went from having a really super successful career running a chamber of commerce, which is what I used to do before I had children. I was membership director at a very large chamber of commerce. I was in charge of the corporations and the small businesses in a 4-city area. I was in charge of 4 cities. And I was very successful, and I was really involved in politics. I knew the governor, I knew the state attorney general, I was hanging out with them, the sheriff of the whole county, the head sheriff. I was having lunch with these people every day, the post office general, the fire master, marshal, the fire marshal, all these people, as well as all the corporate CEOs and the hospital CEOs and the big medical clinic CEOs and all these people. I left that successful job to become a full-time mom. And that was a huge stressor on me, an emotional stressor, because I went from having an identity as a successful career woman to suddenly being a mommy with 2 little babies that popped out of me. And which I almost died having both of them. Actually, it was pretty awful. I almost died both times. And after the second one, I had literally 6 doctors tell me, do not have any more children or you will be dead next time. So I had to stop after my 2, which I was very bummed about that, because I really wanted 4. I wanted 4 kids, and I wasn't able to go on with it. And I figured, okay, well, maybe I'll adopt some later. But what wound up happening is the 2 that I gave birth to wound up being equal to having 6, because they had a lot of challenges and problems that they came into the world with. So that made me more stressed out as a mom, because I had a mom that had 2 very challenging children who were equal to having like 6 children. And so I had a horrible stress disorder. So how my story goes is that I had to learn every technique known to man to heal myself. I learned meditation. I learned Qigong. I learned Reiki. I'm a Reiki practitioner. I just learned all these different types of modalities and systems, and cognitive behavioral therapy and reprogramming the mind and mantras and just all sorts of things. And So a lot of that work I did, and then also I started studying how to heal the body 39 years ago because I was misdiagnosed at the age of 18. And by the way, before I go any further, I just want to give a disclaimer that this entire video is entertainment purposes only. I'm not a doctor. I cannot diagnose or treat anybody, and this is just all informational and entertainment only. So what I want to tell you is I actually will, I want to read to you out of my book here about why this is so important. So why did Yeshua ask me the other day to go back and reteach this when this is the program I was teaching back in from 2011 to 2016, I was teaching this program full time. And then I stopped. And why he asked me to go back is because I'm going to read this right out of my book. It says, Why Stress is a Worldwide Epidemic. Every year we hear about flu outbreaks, antibiotic resistant illnesses, possible pandemics, but stress is 10 times more dangerous than all of those things combined. The stress epidemic alone causes more premature death than any disease that has ever been on the planet. I mentioned earlier in this book that between 80 to 90% of illness is caused by stress, according to many different sources and studies. I've had doctors tell me that they believe 100% of their patients are suffering with stress-related illness. The World Health Organization has stated that stress is the health epidemic of the 21st century and is estimated to cost American businesses up to $300 billion a year. Now, I'm guessing since I wrote this in 2011, that was 13 years ago. Since then, I'm guessing this has all changed and it's even worse than what I'm stating. The fact is that every person on the planet experiences some form of stress every day, whether it's emotional, dietary, economic, political, environmental, chemical, or other. We are all bombarded with stress-causing problems every day, even chemtrails. So are you hoping that doctors or scientists will find a cure for the stress epidemic? It may be a while. Unlike pandemics and epidemics that can be cured or prevented with a vaccine or a pill, the stress epidemic will never be cured with a one-shot solution. Can you even get help from your doctor? One of America's healthcare secrets is that if you go to see your doctor for stress, they cannot help you. In a study conducted by the American Psychological Association on doctors across America, 50% of doctors are burned out and stressed out. Minneapolis-based physician Wellness Services conducted a survey of 2,069 physicians with Sajeka Search, a St. Louis, Missouri-based healthcare executive search firm. Over 87% of respondents said they feel moderately to severely stressed out or burned out every day. The question is, how can we manage stress if there will never be a magic cure, and who will help us if our doctors can't? And the good news is we have the ability to stop the stress epidemic from killing us, and we are in full control of removing this epidemic from our planet. So what can we do about it? Well, first, everyone needs to change their perceptions or their negative stressful events. Each person perceives stress differently. The people who have positive perceptions of what happens in their lives are healthier and happier. Next, we all need to learn how to manage, reduce, prevent, and delete stress. The last thing we all need to do is take responsibility for our problems, commit to making change in our lives, and do the work that needs to be done to live healthier and happier. We are in total control of our stress. However, if we all walk around complaining but not doing anything about the stress, we will never get any better. My microphone is like tipped over for some reason. Not sure why. The choice is truly up to you and me. Either we learn to manage stress and live a healthy and happy life, or we continue on the way we've been living and fall victim to the world's most dangerous epidemic. So anything that the bad guys launch on us, that they release out of labs or they put out on the public, it doesn't hold a candle to the fact that every single one of you that's watching me right now in this video has stress every day, all day long, of different varieties, whether it's physical stress, emotional, chemical, or environment. So let me go a little bit more into what these are, kind of break them down. And I'm just giving you a little tidbit because you're going to want to get this book, because this book is going to change your life. This book is a whole life makeover. It's a whole healing book. I even have stuff in here on how to sleep better at night, how to cure adrenal burnout, because the majority of Americans and people on earth really, but mainly in America, have adrenal burnout or adrenal insufficiency. So I have a chapter on that. Sleeping, there's so much stuff in here. Okay. And this was from way back in 2011, but the information, it really needs to be updated with some extra stuff because I've learned quite a bit since then. But I'm not going to redo this book because I think it's perfect just the way it is. It was given to me by the boss. He told me what to put in each chapter, what to cover, what to talk about. And I think it's perfect the way it is. But let me break this down for you. So, physical stress, I'm going to turn off. Somebody's texting me like crazy and blowing up my phone. Physical stress can be not exercising enough or over exercising. My next door neighbor used to run all the time. He was an avid jogger and runner. He started when he was young, and he keeled over dead at age 50 with a massive heart attack several years ago. And he was supposedly healthy as a horse, but jogging all the time is actually very hard on your body, especially as you age. It's hard on your joints. It's actually hard on your heart. Doing a little bit of jogging now and then is okay, but doing the hardcore, like athletic, like how do you want to say, Olympic kind of stuff like he was doing, he was like running for miles every day, that kind of thing, is actually really hard on your body. My husband had a really good friend who did a similar kind of thing, except he was riding his bike to work every day, and it was like 40 miles round trip, or more than that maybe. And it was like 40 to 50 or 60 miles round trip. He was riding his bike every day. That stresses out the entire body. It releases tons of cortisol, stress hormone, into the body. He keeled over dead, massive heart attack. He was supposedly super healthy. All his blood and everything was healthy, but the body gets taxed from too much exercise. Poor diet is physical stress. Smoking and drinking and drugging, physical stress. There's so many different things that can cause physical stress. Somebody who has a physically stressful job, like they're working in the field all day, or they're a mover, they're moving people's boxes and furniture all day long, that is physical stress. And there's so many other things that are physical stress. So physical stress can kill you. It can kill you. And I have a whole chapter or section in this book under the physical stress that talks about what kind of exercise you should be doing and how to exercise so that it's healthy and not stressful for your body, because the body is meant to be in motion and to move, and you do need to get exercise every single day. So I talk about the right kind in the book. So then we move on to the E in the piece, which is emotional stress. So you have subconscious and conscious emotional stress, and it can come from trauma, wrong beliefs, all sorts of things, people insulting you and hurting your feelings, stuff you learned. There's so many ways you can have emotional stress and trauma. But you can also inherit it through your DNA. You can inherit emotional stress and trauma. And I'm always constantly doing clearing work for my clients to clear their emotional stresses and traumas. And, I do that all the time, constantly doing that, teaching people how to heal I go in first and I scan them and find out if they have any emotional stress or trauma, and then I teach them how to deal with it, and we clear them. So that's something I do. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at my hands and they're just so dried out from all the dishwashing I did without gloves today. Ugh. And it's like 40 degrees out with the heat coming on every 5 minutes. That doesn't help either. I'm just looking at my hands going, oh my God, they're white and crusty. Scary. That is physical stress. So I was washing the dishes a lot today with no gloves on, and now my skin is stressed out and not happy. And I should have had a can or a bottle of lotion right next to the side of the sink and put it on my hands after I was washing each time. But nope, forgot to do that. So I highly recommend you all, when you're washing dishes, don't wind up being a Kimberly and getting these white crusty hands, make sure you have your lotion right next to the side of the sink. So, the emotional stress, it can come from past lifetimes. You can have all kinds of emotional traumas and stress come from past lifetimes. That is absolutely a real thing. That is a real thing that can happen. So you've got that. And then you have emotional stress you can take on from other people. If you're a starseed or an empath of any kind, you can take on emotional stress and trauma from other people. And then you can also get emotionally stressed out by demonic energies and also AI and other things messing with your brain. That can cause emotional stress and trauma. So that covers the E. The C is for chemical. I have an entire chapter talking about chemicals and toxins, which we get it in the air through the chemtrails, we get it in the water, the food, the cosmetic products, which is why I use all natural vegan cosmetic products that haven't been tested on animals, that are products that if I put it on my skin, I can eat it too, because it's got like olive oil and shea butter and coconut oil and really good stuff in it. That's what I put on my skin. Your skin is your largest organ in your body. Whatever goes into your skin goes into your bloodstream and goes to your brain and every organ in your body, and it builds up. It builds up in your skin and it builds up in your body. In fact, I was using a bioidentical progesterone cream when I was going through menopause, and that cream actually built up too much in my skin, and then I had an overdose of progesterone, and now I have been weaning my body out of the, trying to slowly get it out of my system for the last several years, because once you get it in there, it takes quite a while to get it out. So there's that. So there are chemicals and toxins everywhere in the environment. They are just all over the place, all over the freaking place. So you have to be really, really careful with the chemicals and the toxins, and that is going to cause, of course, cancer, heart disease, autoimmune disorders, brain disorders like Parkinson's and Lou Gehrig's disease. I mean, there's just a vast variety of illnesses that you're going to get from all the toxins and chemicals in the environment. So I have a whole chapter that's devoted to that and what you can do about it. And then the last E, so the A is just for and, so it's physical, emotional, and chemical and environmental, because it was originally PECE, but obviously peace, the word peace, which is what the boss wanted. He wanted it to read peace, like the kind of peace that he is, which he is the Prince of Peace. But the A doesn't stand for anything other than and. So it's physical, emotional, chemical, and environmental. So the last E is environment. An environment could be your home environment, which can be very stressful and non-peaceful. It can be chaotic. It can be your work environment. It can be the environment at the airport that's loud and noisy and lots of people around you. It can be the environment at your job, the environment when you're out on the road, the environment when you're on vacation. Anywhere you go, whatever environment you're in can cause you trauma and stress. Loud noises, rude people, people with negative energy. There's just so many things. So all of these things are covered in this system and covered in this book. And I really highly recommend that you check it out on Amazon. I don't make a lot of money off of this, so I can promote it from now till doomsday. It will never pay the bills for my family, and it will never make me wealthy. It gives me a tiny bit of money that's just a fraction. I mean, it might cover a few grocery bills. So I highly recommend you get this book, because it's going to change your life. I have literally thousands of testimonials since I launched it in 2016 from people sending me letters and emails and messages telling me how this book totally transformed their life. I had one client that lost 57 pounds after reading this book, because I had a whole chapter on diet and weight loss and all that kind of thing. I've had people cure their diabetes. I've had people cure blood pressure issues, of course, stress, sleep issues, adrenal issues, all sorts of things as a result of this. Of course, I cannot make any promises or guarantees that this book will do anything, and it's not meant to treat or diagnose any illnesses. I'm just telling you letters that people have sent me saying that that is what result that they ascertained to reading the book and doing the homework in the book. and doing the last chapter with the life makeover. So I highly, highly, highly recommend you do it for yourself, because I'm here to help humanity in that way. And if I wanted to make money, I would have had it published by, what is that company? Something, how the guys who published, well, Bruce Lipton and all these famous guys. If I wanted to go and be rich and famous, I would sign one of those dark Illuminati contracts and go on with one of the big publishing houses and go on the circuit and speak about my book all over the world and become famous and rich that way and get paid $30,000 to show up and speak at a conference. But that is not my interest. I don't give a flying F about that. I'm not into money or materialism. I'm just here as a teacher to just help the people who are ready for my information. So that is why when I say it was a bestseller, you need to understand it didn't sell thousands of copies. It maybe sold a few hundred copies, but bestseller has to do on Amazon with how many people clicked on the link and looked at it. So I could have had 30,000 people click on the link, but maybe a few hundred bought it, and they will call it a bestseller. That's how the bestseller list works on Amazon. I'm just being honest, and the New York Times bestseller list is a joke too, because you actually have to buy your place on that list. So the people who are on the New York Times bestseller list actually paid several $100,000 to be on the New York Times bestseller list. They paid all that money. So you have to be uber wealthy, which means you've probably signed one of those little contracts selling your soul. And that's not my game here. So I'm not interested in that, which is why I'm small potatoes. My books, sell a few thousand copies instead of a few million copies. And that's fine. I'm helping the people who I can help, and that's what's important. So again, I just wanted to say that so you understand I'm not on here just trying to promote selflessly or whatever, promote my, or selfishly, whatever word you want to use, promote my book. It's not about that, because I'm not getting any fame out of it, which I don't give a flying F, and I am not getting rich off of it. And barely, my husband still has to work full time, and I still have to work full time doing counseling and stuff to pay the bills. So the book is very tiny potatoes, but what it will do is I guarantee it will change your life in a positive direction. Now, how it will change your life or what it will do for your health and your happiness and all of that, I cannot guarantee, but what I can guarantee is that you will have a positive change in your life. If you read the book, if you follow all the directions in the book and do what it says, you will have a positive outcome of some variety. So that is what I have to say. She wanted me to do a video talking about the peace system. So there you go, boss. I hope you're happy. I did a video. I asked him, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to teach in a video? He said, teach the peace system. So here we are. This is the peace system. And if you need help finding out if you have emotional blocks and all those types of nasty things, feel free to contact me through my website, spiritualgrowthjourneys.com, and sign up for a private session where I can give you a soul reading and a body, mind, spirit reading where I can scan you and see if you have any of these, issues like past life trauma and past life, false light contracts and wrong, belief systems and dark magic spells and curses and traumas and all these things, or this current life or DNA inherited, that kind of stuff. I'm able to find that out for you in a session. So feel free to contact me through my website for one of those. And you can get this book, The Real Fountain of Youth, on Amazon, and there will be a link down below in the description right to the book on Amazon USA, but it is available in Amazon internationally on whatever Amazon you're on. So if you are in Amazon Germany, you're going to want to put in Amazon Germany, go there, and then put my book in, because it's in Germany, it's in Japan, it's in I think it's in Philippines, it's in Australia, it's in France, Spain, it's everywhere. It's pretty much everywhere, available internationally on different Amazons. So I hope you will check it out and change your life for a positive direction, especially since the biggest epidemic on earth is stress. And we want you to have peace. And when I say we, I'm talking about me and Yeshua. We want you to have peace. We want you to have his peace. We want you to have that Christed peace. And you're not going to have peace by doing it by just making things quiet and peaceful in your house and listening to quiet music and burning candles and using crystals and meditating. Yes, that's going to give you peace. Absolutely. And that stuff's in the book. But the real true peace is going to come from conquering and managing your physical, emotional, chemical, and environmental stress. Once you're able to get all that stuff under control, that is when you're going to have better peace in your life. And hopefully you all resonate with this. And if you don't, that's okay. Take what you want from this video and leave the rest behind. I'm not here to convince anyone or force my opinions or values or ideas onto anybody. I'm just sharing my truth and my information and my knowledge I've learned in 58 years of being on Earth. And the information I get from the boss that he asked me to share, I'm just sharing that. And the people who resonate will, and the people who don't won't. If you don't resonate with me or any of this information, just move along to the next channel. And that's the way that goes. But to everybody else, I love and appreciate you all so much. Everybody who supported me over the last 4 years with this channel, I love you. I appreciate every one of you, especially when you're making all these nice comments in the comment section. It just makes my heart feel really happy and makes me want to get up in the morning and continue doing the work that I am doing despite being attacked on all fronts. Whether it's with energy weapons from the bad guys, or I'm being attacked by actual people, or by AI, or whatever the heck demonic entities, you name it. All the people who are here spreading light, they come after us from all directions. It's not just me. It's every single light worker on this planet is being attacked daily. All of us, we are all being attacked. So the thing that keeps me moving forward and sticking around this earth is all of you who send me all the wonderful, loving, beautiful messages and comments. So thank you all for being here, and I will see you on the next video. Please like, subscribe, and share this video with people who are having health issues in their life, because I can guarantee you their health issues are related to one of those types of stresses that I talk about in the book. And the book will really, really help them. So please recommend them to watch this and check it out. Love you all.